up, guys? Prince Sports here. Chilling at the crib. We have a state of emergency here in California. There's a heat wave. Okay? People are literally told to stay in the house if it's not really needed to go outside because we have a heat wave. You just had somebody that's passed out in Northern California. A young kid just passed out and, didn't make it. All because of this heat wave that we got. Triple digits, extremely hot, bro. Even as I speak to you right now, I'm sweating and and it's hot. For a guy from New York, this is not the type of weather I'm used to. We're top of Canada, so we're close to cold weather. I'm more used to snow and cold weather, hoodies on, and this type of heat is just like insane type of heat. This is not the type of heat that I was raised on. Even in New York, it doesn't get this hot. So, man. Woo. Okay. Now that I get that out the way. Anthony Edwards, a young prospect. He may be a top 5 pick coming into the league. May get drafted by the Golden State Warriors. You never know. But he was recently on a show that called Take It All, something like that. I don't know the name. But he was being interviewed. And she asked him who's the greatest basketball player of all time. And I find this interesting because he said Kevin Durant. Okay, now he said Kevin Durant. All right. And she asked why? Over LeBron, over Jordan? He said, yeah, because Kevin Durant's 6 foot. He could score and he could do a lot of things. Pump the brakes a little bit, young buck. I know you're young, and it's okay for a young person to never see other players play to say that, hey, the guy that I'm watching is the greatest of all time. But when you say the word greatest, don't you think accomplishments have to get in there too? You can't just have one aspect of the game and say, oh, this guy is the greatest because he's the only player that I saw play. It doesn't go like that a little too much. Greatness is often associated with accomplishments and your skill set too. So he says Kevin Durant could do the most. Okay, now, saying Kevin Durant is 7 foot and he can move like a guard, you're pretty much saying that he has a skill set that we have never seen before. And to a certain extent, that is kind of true, because you got a 7 foot guy that could move like a guard a little bit, okay? He's still a little slow compared to certain guards, but let's just say he could move fast for a 7 footer, okay? And he has good handles, all this other good stuff, right? Even though he had a little problem putting the ball down on the floor against a shorter defender because he's tall. So that's always an issue for a taller guy. But skill set doesn't make you the greatest. Skill set is just potential of what you can do. That's all it is, okay? If I say this guy's skill set is this and that doesn't mean he's the greatest basketball player of all time. That skill set has to equal to accomplishments, and those accomplishments have to equal to you accomplishing things. Kevin Durant's resume doesn't justify for being the GOAT. Now, if you're going to compare him to a guy like Mike, they're both good scorers. Kevin Durant is one hell of a scorer for a guy 7 foot, and he's a great shooter. But keep this in mind. Michael Jordan was more of an effective scorer, if that makes any sense to some of you guys. He knows when to score, when not to score. Kevin Durant is pretty much one way, one motion when it comes to scoring. He's just going to keep trying to score. Then he has these motions where some of the scoring just a drop. So he'll give you your 40 points a game. Not a game, but in a game, he'll give you 40. And sometimes it'll start to decrease and go up and down. When guys like, even Kobe Bryant, when guys like Mike or Kobe went into a scoring mode, it's like an avalanche, okay? It's a snowball effect. It just kept going. It went 40 points to 50 to 60 to 70 to how much points would this guy actually score, okay? It becomes like a countdown. Like, this guy's going for a world record. That's how hot they got. And it came to a point that they were so devastating when they were scoring. So they're more devastating scores as well over Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's a good highlight scorer. What I mean by highlight scorer is a guy that could hit a crazy shot or two. You'd be like, damn, that's unguardable. I never seen that before. That's Kevin Durant. Okay, he's a highlight scorer. Okay, but devastating, that's when Michael Jordan fits into the mold. Kobe Bryant was somewhat of a devastating scorer. He's a lesser effect of Michael Jordan, if that makes any sense. Okay, but on to that Anthony Edwards. Sorry, I understand where you're coming from, young buck, but you got to take into fact that basketball is more than just saying a guy have a skill set. Okay, being the greatest, you got to almost check everything off, because you're indicating one guy is the greatest basketball player of all time. Accomplishments do matter in this equation. So Kevin Durant himself will tell you Michael Jordan's the GOAT. He said that himself. So I rest my case. But what you guys think? Press Sports out. Peace.